Hi, crafty friends. Irene here with Artemis Made, and I'm always excited to be sharing with you some inspiration for the Not Too Shabby monthly mood board challenge. So, this month, August, we are focusing on the Rustic Autumn paper pad and this gorgeous, gorgeous mood board. And I say gorgeous because, it's pumpkins and it's fall, and because I can't avoid a pun. Not ever, not ever. So whether you are inspired by the colors, the imagery, the scenery, the quotes, the titles, whatever it is that inspires you, I really hope that you will make a card based on this inspiration and share it with us, and then link to it in the Not Too Shabby blog for your chance at winning a $15 gift certificate. Okay, so we are going to jump right into our card. So these are the pieces that we're using to make our card front. Now, obviously they're already cut out. Why did I do that? Well, I wanted to spend some time talking about why I chose these patterns, and really cutting is very simple. And I wanted to also be able to take an image and show you what the dimensions are for these pieces. So first I'll tell you, and then I'll put an overlay on these so that you can actually see. So this is our main card front, and this is 4 inches wide by 5¼ inches long. Then we've got a piece on our left side here, which is going to go on the left side of our card front, and this is 1½ inches wide, 5⅛ inches long. And then on the right side here, we've got 2 pieces. We've got this one, which is 2¼ wide and 2 inches long. And then again, 2¼ inches wide by 3 inches long. Now go ahead and take a quick screenshot here so you have the sizes. Now, this card, I will give you full disclosure, I have made it before, recently. I made this card right here, which I know, adorable, right? How cute is this little teddy bear? This is also made with Not Too Shabby papers. This is the Ladybug Hug paper pack and the Cute as a Bug ephemera pack, and even the sentiments from the ephemera pack. Now, I made this on my Monday night live challenge show called Card Chaos, and I made this card in 15 minutes. So I wanted to show that it's really quite simple to make a card that's this design, which kudos, the design is for Heidi Collins, a very talented card maker. I have borrowed her design because I really like the sketch. I thought it was great. And a card sketch is a great way to make a card quickly, which my Card Chaos 15-minute cards is all about. So I also wanted to talk about how I am using this same card to create this card. Now, the reason I am doing this card again, for one, is because I just think it's such a sweet pattern and such a sweet card, and I wanted to take the time to really talk about why I chose the patterns I chose, what the dimensions are, and that way everybody has a chance to make it on their own. So again, we're looking at our card base, or our card front, first of all. And our card front in this card is this black layer here. And on our card, it's going to be the Spellbinders Tuscan cardstock. And I thought the Tuscan was a really nice contrast with the colors in this gorgeous paper pad from Not Too Shabby. So this is the Rustic Autumn pad. Again, I know I've already talked about that, but you can see all the fall leaves and everything. So beautiful, beautiful paper pack. And I'm going to make this card again using this fall color palette because I just think that this deserves to be made again, and it deserves to be made in this palette while we take our time. All right, so in this card here, you'll notice I have a pattern, an image, and then more of an all-over image. Now, granted, this is an all-over image too, but look at the scale. These ladybugs are larger than these florals, and they're spaced out a bit, so it has some breathing room in between here, whereas this one, they're smaller images and they're clustered. So that was deliberate. When I chose those papers, it was deliberate. And we're going to do the same thing here. So we've got our pattern, which is this beautiful watercolor plaid. We've got our larger imagery, like these ladybugs here. This larger imagery is the pumpkins. And then we've got also this clustered imagery here. Now, in addition to that, the other thing to note, and I'm going to keep moving these all around, the other thing to note here is I did again, white area, so there's some breathing room here, just like there is here, and then a pattern here. Granted, this one had a little bit more dark tone to it, whereas this is a little bit lighter, but still it brings in some dark and some light. So this is kind of the mid ground. It's a pattern, but it's bringing in both a light and a darker tone from the same paper pack and from these two papers. So this is, again, the middle ground that's marrying these two colors. So this is my dark layer. So I've got dark, I've got light, and then I've got the mid-tone. And to that point, I've got a pattern, a large image, and a small image, or more of a focal image sort of versus a cluster. So that's kind of why I chose these patterns. Now for this particular card, we're going to use this fall blessing sentiment. And that is going to take the place of our ephemera here. So we had the ephemera and we had her sentiment here, the hello little lady. But you see that circle background? We're going to basically take that same concept, but we're going to use the Not Too Shabby collab with Lynn from LV Handcrafted, the Not Too Shabby Wonder Die, the Easy Wonder Die #1. So the #1 was obviously the first one that came out, and we aren't going to use the whole thing because we don't need the whole thing. And even though it's super handy for cutting out your 6x6 paper, this time we're just going to use this piece right here. So first things first, let's get that cut out. Now I'm going to use this cinnamon cardstock from Spellbinders because that is going to also be the color of our card base. So I'm bringing in the card base color. Okay, let me cut this out. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Now we can pop this right back out like that. And here is the first backing circle, and I love that it has the stitching around it. It gives a really nice detail, but it still is not going to take the focus away from our sentiment. And I'm now going to use the Easy Wonder Die #1 add-on set, and it's got this circle. And now this add-on set works beautifully with the Easy Die itself. It's exactly what it says. It's an add-on set, so it has all kinds of extras that work really well and coordinate beautifully with the Easy Die #1. All of the Easy Dies have add-on sets, and they all coordinate really, really well. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. It does all the heavy lifting and the thinking for you, so it's pretty great. Okay, so now I'm going to take my circle here, and part of the reason I am using this smaller circle, you might be wondering why I didn't go with the larger one. It's because I actually want some of this color to bleed over the edge of my circle. So I am going to deliberately use a circle that cuts off just a little tiny bit of some of those leaves. Now I want to make sure my pumpkins are in there, which is why we used this pumpkin paper, because I want this paper to mirror our sentiment. So again, we're just centering this up and making sure that there's some color showing out around the circle, because I do want that bleed. But I'm still trying to line up my sentiment here to try to get it as straight as I can at least. Okay, here we go. We're going to cut this out and I'll be right back again. All right, here we go. So we've cut this out as well. And that is going to be it for our die cutting. Very, very simple card today. Anybody can do this. And you see why I wanted that bleed on the color? And bleed, of course, just means that it's overlapping the edges. It's going beyond the margin or into the margin and then over. So that's what this is doing here. And when I line it up, or layer it up, I should say, on that bottom cardstock, see how the color just like bleeds again right into that cinnamon cardstock backer? I think it's perfect. So I'm very happy with that. And we can move on. This is the cinnamon cardstock from Spellbinders, and I think it's a really beautiful color that matches this paper pad perfectly. So this is going to be an A2 card, side fold. So we're going to do a score line here at 4 1/4 inches, and then we're just going to fold and burnish. Just get a nice crisp edge there for our card base. Okay, here we go. So now we have our card base, and this is our card front. So you see we've got a nice little border right there, but we're not going to adhere those together yet. We're going to move that aside. First, we're going to work on the card front itself. Now, all we're doing here is assembly. So So because all we're doing is assembly, I thought I could do just a quick voiceover and walk you through the glue process here. I'm speeding it up. So I'm just using some liquid adhesive because I like having a little bit of wiggle room. But what I'm doing is first I put down my long piece, and then I used my top and bottom edges of that piece to line up the other two. And you notice there's a border around all of those. I let that yellow peek through as a border. And then I added some foam tape for my circle. I also put a little secret message just for you. All right, and now we can take off our foam tape backers here. Let's get some glue on here because again, it helps to have some wiggle room. Get that down, get some over here. All right, and now we just need to add our sentiment nice and flat in the center. I think this looks pretty good to me. I'm just lining up the word blessings with the bottom of the card. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And I'm also trying to get the center of it kind of in the apex, I guess, of where these two pieces meet in the middle here with that third line across. That's what I'm going for here. I'm going to hold it up for a second, make sure that I like how that's looking. I think that's looking pretty good. All right, so like I said, instead of the ephemera like we have on this card, the sentiment itself is already so beautifully decorated that is going to be our focal point. So this paper pad is kind of an all-in-one. It is fabulous. You can just pick up the paper pad and have everything you need, because you could also even you could fussy cut the different imagery within the sentiments, and there's 4 pages of sentiments, 4 pages. So you can cut out several of these and still have sentiments left to go. All right. Last but not least, we're taking the pumpkin spice enamel dots, and I'm going to show you my little trick. Okay, voiceover Irene is back again. I sped this part up because I didn't want to keep you here while I hem and hawed and deliberated over where to put my enamel dots. It is by far the most difficult part for me of card making. It's my Achilles heel. So what I like to do is actually cut out my enamel dots while they're still on the acetate and move them around until I like the final placement. So that's what I was doing here until I liked where they went. Okay, so this is our finished card. I hope that you are as in love with it as I am. These colors, the papers, the fact that there are sentiments in this set. Oh, I'm over the moon. I'm head over heels with this paper pack. So thank you so very much for watching, friends. I hope that you have found some inspiration here. I hope that you are excited to go and try the monthly mood board challenge for yourself. There's so much inspiration on the blog. It's going to blow your minds. So thank you again very much for joining me today and for taking some time to get some fall vibes and some cozy pumpkin gourd-geous inspiration. I can't help the puns. They live in my soul. So thank you again so very much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you've had fun with me today so that you get to see more content moving forward. And please make sure you check out the Not Too Shabby blog for all the inspiration. Now grab some paper and craft something that really makes you smile. Until next time, friends. Thanks. Bye.